Hi everyone, this is Terry Nazon, world famous astrologer, and these are your weekly horoscopes for the week of the new moon. It's the new moon in the sign of Taurus, but it's in a late degree Taurus this week. And of course we've got the sun in Taurus and we've got Mercury just poised to go retrograde. But let's rewind a bit. The new moon in the sign of Taurus keeps us all grounded and keeps us all determined, focused, and single-minded, which, darlings, is a great thing because as Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Gemini, we're going to need to stay focused. Normally, when Mercury's in the sign of Gemini, let alone when Mercury goes retrograde the day after the new moon in the sign of Gemini, things get a little scattered. We have crazy ideas. We want everything to be new, to be fresh. But this Mercury retrograde and new moon cycle is a bit different because guess what? Things that you think about right now, the things that you do right now in this new moon cycle have every chance of succeeding in a huge way because 1 month, July or June 22nd, we have Jupiter in a beautiful aspect to the planet Uranus, and everything you're starting right now, even during Mercury retrograde cycle, could bear fruit. As an astrologer, everyone always has questions for me about Mercury retrograde. It is one of the most misunderstood cycles that there is. We have a rudimentary knowledge of Mercury retrograde. Don't sign, take a map wherever you go. Of course, you're going to have computer troubles and you may have car troubles. But of course, this Mercury retrograde is a little bit different since it does occur in the sign of Gemini, Mercury's stronghold. And we also have the planet Mars in the sign of Gemini. Now, Mars is considered a malefic planet for those of you who consider Mars just the planet of action. Mars mixes things up. So we have Mercury, the cerebral, intellectual planet, going retrograde in the sign of Gemini, the sign of ideas. And we have Mars taking over action, and we're ready to jump on these new ideas. No matter how unsound or how way out there they may be, we're going to try anything right now. Because that's what the planet Mars does. It just goes for it. And perhaps some of those zany ideas this time around are really going to work out. Of course, we want to wait it out because Mercury will go retrograde and won't go direct until in the month of June. And it will stay in the sign of Gemini all the way through the first 3 weeks of July. So we want to make sure that our ideas that we're putting into motion, that they're sound, that they're incredibly zany and out there, but we also want to make sure that we're just going for it. We're just trying things. Who knows what this Mercury retrograde cycle could bring? The big news here this week, of course, is not just the new moon, not just Mercury retrograde, but the sun enters the sign of Gemini. So happy birthday to some of you Geminis out there. It's your solar return period. Not only that, as the sun enters the sign of Gemini, a few days later, it does something it does once a year. The sun will oppose the planet Saturn, Mr. Miser. And of course, here we run into our obstacles. But if it didn't bother you when Mars opposed the planet Saturn this week or last week, over the last few days, it's not going to be that much of a big deal when the sun opposes the planet Saturn. Of course, maybe you're not going to feel like shopping, you could feel like a little bit down, you could feel a little more serious than normal. So we do have this heavy aspect of planets in the sign of Gemini by now. We've got Mercury retrograde, we've got Mars, which is heat, and we've got the sun. So dealing with these planets in a positive way is going to be very, very necessary. And there's always going to be something that gets you off of your concentration, off of your focus. And of course, Mars is going to do it. Mars is going to square the planet Neptune. For those of you who are single, well, this could mean that you meet somebody, let's say, at a club or a bar. And, well, it's a nice hookup kind of aspect, sort of. But remember, when we wake up and we get out of the haze, the person never really looks what we thought they looked like the night before. So on one hand, it's a fuzzy aspect. But here we're going to get into some Neptune transits that are going to go right into the next week. Well, people could use you as a scapegoat. He did, she did, they did. And we don't want that. So here we're going to get into some scandals. So let's say you're at the club and you do meet up with somebody. Make sure nobody knows about it, okay? So this week is a dynamic new week with the new moon. Always restarting a new cycle with the new moon. And it's in the earthy, money-oriented, solid sign of Taurus. But there's aspects out there this week that can sidetrack us, get us off track. They can bring disillusionment. So it's important that you stay focused this week. Aries, this week, the new moon falls into your solar second house of money, dollar signs, cash, possessions. And of course, it is a late degree new moon in the 23 degree of Taurus mark. And so it will initially slip into the solar third house. And what this means that you just might get an idea, because Uranus is in your solar first house, and you might find the funds that you need and you might run with a new idea. It is your time to be very super creative and to put forth all of the fresh new ideas that are coming to you. For the sign of Taurus, this new moon falls into your solar first house. What could be better? It's a new beginning for you, a time of fresh starts, a new cycle, a new lunar cycle that's beginning. All solar eyes are on you. You have that special lunar glow, and of course everyone's going to want to know what you think about things, how you feel about things. More importantly, you're going to be looking very attractive this week. For the sign of Gemini, the new moon begins a new cycle in your solar 12th house. And because the solar 12th house is ruled by the planet Neptune, who currently rules over and is transiting your solar 10th house of career, fame, fortune, and success. This means that you might get recognized by lots of people in your community or lots of people on the job at work, or you might not want all of that recognition. It means that their new cycle of working behind the scenes starts as it relates to your career, your profession, and your business. For the sign of Cancer, the new moon starts a whole new cycle in your solar 11th house of VIPs, social group activities, and of course, friends. It's a good time to reconnect with friends. Now, Cancer, you always attract moneyed individuals, those kind of friends who are rolling in cash, lots of possessions, and want to share them with you. So that's a good thing. For the sign of Leo, the new moon starts a brand new cycle in your solar 10th house of career, fame, fortune, and success. This brings the attention of higher-ups, bosses, teachers, parents, and anyone in a high position right onto you. So it's also the place where you need to be extra careful, be on your best behavior. The 10th house isn't something we deal with lightly. For the sign of Virgo, the new moon starts a whole new cycle in your solar 9th house. Well, this rules professional licenses, it rules testing, it rules travel, book work, it rules publishing, maybe writing a new book. It also rules travel. But because your planetary ruler, the planet Mercury, is retrograde, be careful with all of this. Dot your I's, cross your T's, check and recheck. And for the sign of Libra, this new moon starts a whole brand new cycle in your solar 8th house of overcoming obstacles, joint finances, banking, partnerships, credit. And of course, if you're in a relationship, togetherness. The 8th house is where we merge with somebody, where we want to become part of their lives intensely. And so it's about money, and it's also about merging in a sexy kind of way. Scorpio, this new moon starts a brand new cycle in your solar sector of personal relationships, significant others, best friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, the M word, marriage, the C word, commitment. And with the planet Neptune also in your solar 5th house, well, it's time for love and romance. It's time for Scorpio to find a new relationship if you're single. If you're not single, it's time to rekindle your love life. For the sign of Sagittarius, this new moon starts a brand new cycle in your solar sector of health, well-being. It's a great time to start a diet, to hit the gym, to take care of your health, and to get on a strict daily routine with yourself, like waking up at 6 in the morning and having your whole day planned out until way in the midnight hours. This is your time to really make it big. For the sign of Capricorn, this new moon starts a brand new cycle in your solar 5th house of love, romance, creativity, entertainment, and of course, where you get to dominate the scene, where you get to be seen and heard. Not that you're so involved in being seen and heard. With Mercury retrograde also in your solar 6th house, you're more inclined to be creative and work hard on your creative endeavors. For the sign of Aquarius, this new moon cycle starts a brand new cycle in your solar sector of home, family, well-being. It's how deeply your feet are into the earth. It's about family now. Maybe you miss your family and you need to spend more time with them. Maybe you want to look for a new place to live. And for the sign of Pisces, this new moon cycle starts a brand new cycle in your solar third house of to and froing, of signing documents, which is a big no-no right now because we can't sign documents when Mercury is retrograde. But people, you'll find, will ask you questions. They want your opinion. They want to know what you have to say about things. It's about gadgets, but be very careful. If you do have to sign documents, if you do buy a computer, make sure you've checked and rechecked and made sure everything works well. So there you have it, everybody. This week's horoscopes. Watch, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's so much more that I could say, but not enough time and not enough film reel. Be sure you subscribe. Watch us on Instagram, and of course, and like us on Facebook. Send us messages on Twitter, and of course, subscribe.